Hey, what up, guys? This is Versity bringing you a Revoltech review of the Overman King Gainer. I don't know. Um, I also have no idea about this anime. Nothing, no knowledge about anything, except that I was able to watch like the opening scene, which was pretty weird and hilarious at the same time. So I've come to assume that it's probably a comical series. But anyway, back to the figure. This figure is Revoltech's number 007 release, so it's a very, very early figure, probably, most likely when Revoltech was probably experimenting with things. It came out back in 2006 and retailed for 24 bucks. I got him at C&C Central technically, but bought at WonderCon this past April for 10 bucks. So I'm assuming that this figure is not very high demand. On top of that, it is pretty old and outdated. But we'll see what this figure has in store for us. Alright, so now for the figure itself. Now, quick size comparison real quick. Let me use a 6-inch War Machine. So he stands at about maybe 5 inches or so. Maybe a little bit under 5 inches. Maybe 4 3/4 inch. I don't know, but that's a quick size comparison for you. As for the colors and paint apps, well, he's got this kind of pearl white to him. As you can see, this kind of just shines there. You've got flat purple for the rest of his body. You got some gray detailing. The panel lines they seem to be dark gray, not quite black. You have a few areas with some light blue. There goes my phone. Sorry about that. Some yellow details. Bring it around. Oh, some red here. Yeah, just a little bit of red here and there. The bullets are painted gold. Great paint apps. There's no overlapping there. Bring it around back. More yellow and purple or dark blue. Not quite sure. Feet are also detailed. The pedal lines are actually pretty thick, but I don't mind because at least it's not like 1990s Gunpla thick, which is alright. Doesn't have too much mechanical detail, but like I said, I haven't really watched the anime series, so I can't really judge on that yet. Okay, so this is a Revoltech figure, but does that mean he's fully Revolteched out? No, he's not, which is pretty weird and surprised me. He only has a few Revoltech joints, and it's probably going to be his elbows, his wrists, his feet, and his knees, his torso, and his head. So not everywhere, which really caught me off guard. Oh, and his dreadlocks, of course. But anyway, so his head can go, forward, backward, rotate. Dreadlocks, do whatever you want. They rotate on on their peg. Why am I losing my voice? They rotate on their peg. They're pretty articulate. So you can switch the hair around any way you want, play with it, whatever. Now his arms, his shoulders are not Revoltech or revolver joints. They're hinged. Now there's a joint in his torso which rotates on an axis, a swivel axis, which allows the arms to go backward and forward like that. Now to get them to rotate, up and down, there's another hinge here, a little cut there, so you have to rotate it like that, which is very weird and actually might, put off some Revoltech fans. Elbow is a full Revoltech joint, so you can do whatever you want there, and so are the wrists. Now the torso, that's good, at least that's still a revolver joint. A little belt here is, attached onto the back, so you can get that articulated too. The legs are the same exact thing as the arms. There's a cut here, so you can get the leg to rotate, forward, not so much backwards, and then rotate here at the thigh. So, I'll show you some poses later to show you that this is still pretty effective. The knees, revolver joints, good thing, and it's actually not too bad of a bend, as you can see. Then the feet can go forward, back. It's a full revolver joint, so you can do whatever you want there. Now, to kind of explain away the hinges instead of revolver joints, I don't know why they did that. Like I said, it might put off some people, especially Revoltech fans of the newer figures. That might, just put you off and saying, I kind of don't want that. But hey, $10. Well, let me just show you some poses later on. Alright, just to get an idea of his accessory count, and that's everything that he comes with. As you can see, he comes with hands. So he only comes with 3 pairs of hands, his fists, which are on him right now, his trigger fingers, and his dramatic Sa omae no tsumi o kazoero style hands, which is very nicely sculpted, if you ask me. I like that it's not a very mechanical, looking mech design. It's just a smooth animated style, and that goes for much easier molding. And I gotta say they got it spot on. All right, so now to show you what you can do with these hands. Well, with these hands at least, you can hold his gun blade, which is really nice. I don't know the proper name for this thing, but since it looks like a gun blade, it's a gun blade. So not too much detail, like I said, not too much extra paint apps or anything. They didn't go, the extra mile to add anything different. I mean, there is a little red paint detail with a little bit of black to show. I guess that's where it shoots things out. You got the revolver here. Two different handles. You got, the sword handle and you got the gun handle. You can actually interchange this one with its, I don't know what it's called, but I'm just gonna bring it out. So you just pull this out right here from the bottom, and it just pegs in there. And you take this one, which is it looks more like a saw now, but just plug it in the same way. And the thing is, you have to keep an eye out for, there's this little kind of a lump, a little slope here, and there's a hole there, and what that's for, let's plug it in there. What that's for is you can actually store his weapon in the back here on this peg on his belt. You just take that and you just plug it in. If it allows you, or if it allows me. Well, yeah, general idea, you can peg it back there. And that's one of his main weapons, the gun blade. Now he comes with his signature halo. I still don't, I don't know what it's called properly, its proper name, but it does come with these two revolver joints here, and what they're used for is you turn them around again, and there are these two holes in two of his dreadlocks, and you can take these revolver joints and post them in there, so that way it gives an effect that the halo is actually behind him and just hanging there. It really looks good when it's finally on him and stuff. And finally, the one thing that I'm probably the most disappointed about is the fact that not the fact that he doesn't come with the stand, because it's right here and here's the other piece, but the fact that it doesn't come with the actual stand that holds him in midair, which is odd. I don't know if that's my packaging or if it really just does not come with it, but it does not come with it. And your only option is to plug this one onto here, and you can take one of his feet and just have him kind of in a midair pose there. But this figure is it's a little heavy, especially with his dreadlocks and with his halo on and with his gun blade on. It just doesn't work out. Now, what doesn't make sense to me is that it would have worked perfectly. All you really need to do, and I've already tried this, just unpeg that belt and it'll stay there. You plug in the stand right there where they usually go, and that's it. It doesn't go anywhere. Like, the belt doesn't go anywhere, so you also just you can't tell. You really can't tell from the front. So I don't know why this figure didn't come with a stand like that. Maybe it's a common thing amongst older releases, but that's something that might put off more Revoltech fans. Alright, so finally, I don't want to keep bashing on this figure's lack of revolver joints, but you tell me, is that not a good pose? I mean, yeah, he looks like an evil rabbit with a fishbowl over his head, but I think it's working pretty fine. There's something else I see about this figure. Alright, so finally, after all that fun I've had with the figure, I gotta say that I cannot recommend this to the normal Revoltech fan, simply because usually you collect Revoltechs, you probably want the best posability, and you want to take advantage of the Revoltech figures. That might not be the case for most of the time, but generally speaking, I can't really recommend this. But for the general consumer, though, like for someone who wants to experiment with Revoltechs, or someone who just wants a nice figure of King Geiner, this would be your best option. $10, I mean, if you can find it for $10, I doubt you'll be able to find him for the retail price. It's not a very high demanding figure, I guess you would say, but it might not be hard to find, it might not be easy to find, I'm not sure. I found it at a convention for $10, so I think if you can find it, give this figure a chance. Yeah, the two knocks against this figure is the lack of Revoltech joints and probably the lack of the actual midair post for the base. But if this isn't your first Revoltech figure, you should be able to get by without all that stuff. This is once again a fun figure, and I barely use this term, but it's also a fun figure to actually play with. So I can definitely recommend him. Just not to any like not die hard, but hardcore, Revoltech fanatic. This might disappoint some, but for me, it really delivered. So that's my review, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. And once again, this has been a video review of Revoltech Overman King Gunner. Thanks for watching, guys. King Gunner Shuffle from the opening. Okay, maybe that was a fail.